got a T-shirt with bloodstains all over it. Maybe laundry isn't your biggest problem right now.
I remember the day the candle shop burned down. Everybody just stood around and sang happy birthday.
And a security guard came over and said, "You're gonna have to move. You're blocking the fire exit." As though if there was a fire, I wasn't gonna run.
You make love to the right woman, Johnny, is beautiful, beautiful. I mean, the last time I made love to my wife, it was ridiculous. Nothing was happening. I looked at her, I said, "What's the matter? Can't you think of anyone either?"
I never learn, you know, like a waitress will bring my meal. "Hey, enjoy your meal, you too!" But you don't have one, do you? I'm a doofus. If you do eat, enjoy it when you eat it. If you have a break or something later, if you get an opportunity, that's all I'm trying to say. That's all that I'm driving at, really.
Hello, welcome to Comedy Think Tanked, a podcast with Leonard Kimball and Nick Gordon, two comedians who know how to take a drink and have a thought. Sit back, get comfortable, and enjoy. Now, whether they're ready or not, here's your hosts, Leonard and Nick.
Hello, comedy think tankers, and welcome.
Are we ripping off Mara like the tankers, what the tanker fuckers?
Was that allowed? I mean, can we do that?
I don't know.
Can you copyright an intro?
I don't know. Well, the next time, when we interview an actual lawyer, we'll ask them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I would guess you can intro. I'm sorry, you can copyright a logo if it's like really significant to your brand. I suppose.
Logo, though, yes, but like an actual saying, like something that you come up with. I mean, if Mark Maron comes on his podcast and says, "Hey, what the fuckers," when we come on and say, "Hey, welcome, comedy think tankers," like I don't see how a judge could sit up on the bench in a courtroom and be like, I really do need to think about this.
He's like, I've got other things I could be doing right now.
This is dismissed. I have a club sandwich that needs to be eaten, and you guys are just interfering with that.
Yeah, we're probably in the clear. I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay.
Well,
either way, regardless, welcome to Comedy Think Tank Podcast with me, Nick Gordon. I almost called myself Leonard, and you Leonard Kimball.
Yeah, I'm the black one. I'm over here.
Well, he's with that. No, welcome to another episode. It's good to be doing. We haven't been canceled yet, so.
No, we haven't been canceled. That's good. And Podbean is still taking our money to host our podcast, so I guess we're good.
Are we paying them?
Yeah, this costs money, man.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, it's like
that's why I'm not in charge of the checkbook.
It's like dozens of dollars a year or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know, something
outrageous.
Yeah, something outrageous. Something like when I was a kid, I'd be like, "Whoa, that's a lot of money!
That's so much money!
Oh my god, how am I going to come up with $42?" Oh,
$42 as a kid is a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Our guest today talked about being a kid, and it's good segue into that. Julie Poulin came on, and we had a nice conversation with her. She is a local comedian, actor, improver, voiceover lady, and just an all-around nice woman.
Yeah,
that, we've gotten to know over the years. Great friend.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really good to sit and have a nice conversation with her. But yeah, like I said, she did bring up being a kid, and where she got her start was basically going in her backyard and acting the fool.
Right.
And it makes me think back. I mean, we're in the end of May here, and it makes me, the weather's getting good, and it makes me remember being a kid and growing up here in Maine as well, and the things that I used to do. And you didn't grow up here in Maine, but in Maine, basically, as a kid in the 80s and 90s, like You went outside and played sports.
Oh, okay.
That was the end of it.
Yeah, growing up, I didn't do a lot of sports growing up. I was a bit of a chubby kid, but I do remember like
I was chubby too.
Well, okay, yeah. I guess we're all chubby a little bit. Everyone's chubby, I guess, when you're.
But
a
were
kid.
you like really chubby?
I was like, sometimes I was painfully chubby.
Oh.
So like I remember like
this chub hurts so bad.
yeah. We used to get like banished out of the house.
Yeah.
And like don't come back until go outside. Go.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and then like so friends were like, so I was in Chicago for people who don't know, and people were like, okay, we're gonna go down Lakeshore Drive, and I lived on the south side, and so the Lakeshore Drive hits some of the south side, but like we lived like 10 miles from
Jesus.
Lakeshore Drive, right? So we had our bikes, and we were just biking, and we just bike forever.
Wow.
And I remember finally getting to Lakeshore Drive, and then we're starting north and trying to going towards downtown at some point, and I was like, I'm dying. I'm literally gonna die. They're gonna see me on the way back because they're already miles ahead of me. I'm trying to catch up to them. I can't catch up anymore. Guys. My legs are like burning. My thighs are chafing on my little bike, and I'm like, and I'm like, I have to stop. I have to turn around.
Yeah.
And I have to just assume that those guys are okay. They didn't get like captured by like marauding Vikings on Lakeshore Drive or anything, something like that. And I was like, I gotta go home. I can't do this.
Sorry, guys. And that was before cell phones, obviously. So it's not like you could text them and be like, I'm going home, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if they didn't notice you were gone, they just had to assume you were either dead or home.
Yeah. They were like, oh, he'll catch up tomorrow, I guess.
Oh, man. Fucking kids are the worst.
No. So I never did like Little League or basketball. All my family was into that. My cousin was really into baseball and football and all that sort of stuff, and I never did it. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, as a kid in the summer, it was baseball, it was bike riding. As I got older, it was shooting BB guns and bows and arrows in the woods, and it was okay. But I never went more than, a mile. If I was a mile away from home, my mother would freak out.
Oh, wow.
So riding your bike 10 miles, for me, my mother would have lost her mind.
Oh yeah, we were definitely just like we just
you
be
just
gone.
did whatever.
Yeah, we just gone, and then like you come back whenever.
That's pretty funny. John Mulaney talks about growing up in Chicago and how when he was like 12 years old, he went to a movie by himself, and then he went to a diner and had lunch and read a magazine, and then he went home.
He's 12. Reading a magazine.
He was like 12 years old in a diner eating lunch by him. He was like a divorced dad or something. I think that's his punchline.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny. But he grew up in Chicago too, and
it's crazy. Like I think about how sort of independent I was growing up.
Yeah,
and I'd ride the bus all by myself to and from school.
I won't ride the bus today.
Yeah, by myself. So like sometimes I'd be out there all by myself waiting for the school bus, the public public bus.
Yeah.
Go to school. Sometimes I wouldn't have fare for the way home. Like I would lose the token or whatever, and I just fucking walk 5 miles. I had to walk home, and my mom's job was right along the bus route.
Yeah.
And I'd be too embarrassed to go in and tell her that I was out of money.
So
I would walk by, and there are big windows. She worked at the Illinois College of Optometry, and there were big windows there on the road. And I would skirt by, hoping that she didn't somehow see me.
Jeez, that's funny.
Get home, and I'd be home by myself for like hours until she got home.
And you're like 12 years old?
Oh yeah, younger than that for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Different times, obviously, back in the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Than it is now. I can't even imagine not taking a child to where they need to be and dropping them off and being there with them, and like, and my kids are 12 and 9 right now, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Parenting's different now, I guess.
Yeah, my wife and I had a breakthrough just last week.
Yep.
We went out and spent the night out for our anniversary. We decided.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. Decided to let the kids be home alone.
By themselves.
And we got home, and the house was still there. And
hopefully no axe murderers listen to
the podcast. We don't have that many listeners, though.
So that's right, too.
Yeah, axe murderers listening.
And axe murderers would actually email us and say, what a great job we're doing.
Yeah.
Or comment on the post. Our fans are less than axe murderers because they don't say a word about anything. Did you listen to the podcast? Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I did. I mean, we have the numbers to prove that people are listening.
Yeah, I mean, there's that one random guy in Germany who keeps listening.
Thank you, Germany.
Thank you,
whoever
Germany.
you are. We really appreciate you listening in to all our comedy think tankers.
Yeah, comedy think tankers. What the think tank?
If it hasn't been copyrighted yet, we're gonna do that. I don't know if it's possible. But
Yeah, sure.
Let's find a way. Let's find a way and do that. What do you think of Julie Poulin?
Oh, she was great.
Yeah.
I remember meeting her when she did like a corporate gig for a bank I worked at, and it was like improv during comedy, like murder mystery or something like that with Dennis Price, and I was like, that is incredible. This is way before I had any idea I was going to get into comedy. Like, what they just did there was fantastic. And I can't believe that just happened. And then meeting Julie in stand-up comedy class that Don put on, I'm like, oh, I recognize you. That's great.
That's pretty cool. Nice connection.
Yeah.
I my fondest memory is of her kicking my ass in a comedy competition, and I didn't even know who she was. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is ridiculous. I've been doing this for years now, and she's better than I am. That's not right. No, I'm just kidding. It's been a pleasure to make friends with anyone and everyone, and have a commonality of trying to make people laugh. So
yeah, it's been really like. I probably said this before. It's been life changing. It's like I didn't think that I would do this sort of thing.
Yeah,
and I was always super shy growing up.
Yeah,
I mean I'm still relatively shy, but I guess I'm a little bit more comfortable on a microphone now, and I'm okay.
Well, it comes from all the days of riding your bike up Lakeshore Drive and getting left behind by your friends. You had to get comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
Oh man. So.
Boy.
All right, well, let's kick it over to the interview.
Okay.
I think we've talked enough.
All right, everybody. Julie Poulin.
Thank you. Oh, hello. Welcome to Comedy Think Tank Podcast with Leonard Kimball. I'm Nick Gordon. We're here today with Julie Poulin.
Took you a minute.
Yeah, it did. It's early.
Hello, Julie. How are you?
I'm well, Leonard. Thank you. And hi, Nick. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm
Excellent.
great. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here with you in the downstairs of Leonard's garage this time.
It's much cooler.
Yeah, the $1 million renovations we're doing to the upstairs so far did not involve air conditioning or a fan or opening any windows. So.
And my level of fandom does not allow me into the $1 billion renovations.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's the champagne room of
right.
podcasting.
Yeah. And the whole window of champagne rooms for me closed about 30 years ago.
We do our own sound effects here. Julie, Comedy Think Tank Podcast wants to know about comedy and Julie Poulin. When did it all start?
Okay. So, I mean, like a lot of people, I was a kid and super hyperactive kid. And no surprise to those of you who know me, I have a lot of energy. I talked a lot as a kid. I got in a lot of trouble at school for talking. I was I was a good student, but I just couldn't. And then what I realized was, oh, wait a minute, I can also make the class laugh. And then I would do like full on productions in my backyard in Randolph, Maine, in this little 1 square mile. We built a stage in my backyard, and I basically commanded the neighborhood at like 10. It's like, okay, so this Sunday we'll be playing The Wizard of Oz. I'm going to be Dorothy, the lion, the scarecrow. The rest of you can be my munchkins and go.
You can hold this bush and stand in the background.
But it was an outlet for like being so hyperactive. I felt like it just let me just cut loose with all the characters and the silliness. And
nice.
So that's really how I started. Stand-up did not start for me till 3 years ago, really.
Yeah.
I was 54 years old when I decided to try stand-up.
But in between being 10 years old and 54 years old, you were a comedic actress of sorts?
Yeah, I did
Would you say?
25 years of what's in Maine is called Murder Mystery Dinner Theater.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I traveled throughout the state, all pretty much New England, and you would go to different restaurants and perform murders, basically, with different genres. Like this is the family reunion show, this is the Italian wedding show, this is the pirate show, and a murder would take place, and somebody in the audience has to kind of figure out who did it and why. And I did that for 25 years. And,
Wow.
and I loved it. And I've also done, because some people are like, dinner theater. I've also done a lot of, regular theater as well, staged productions. I did a professional show in Falmouth a couple of years ago. And that was really my first love when I got into high school, as a drama club that I get into, because they shockingly wasn't super popular.
And then you got into drama club too, so it became even less popular.
Yeah, when I
right?
tell my kids that, like, oh, I was in the drama club in high school, they're like, oh God, Mom, you were one of those kids.
One of those sitting on the back stairs.
Yeah.
You couldn't have done band. You weren't cool enough for band.
No, I have no musical talent.
Except for singing.
That's questionable too.
Is it? Oh, okay.
So did you do any sort of official studying for like acting and improv, or you just got into it and that this is what I really love doing?
Improv's taken a lot of, obviously courses. Leonard, you and I have been to some,
Right.
that Dennis Price has put on, Tuck, lots of that. But that got born out of, I met a guy, Bob Nixon.
Okay.
Rest in peace, Bob. Did improv for a long time in Maine. And I met him through Mystery for Hire. And he was like, I want you to try improv. And he was really good for a teacher because, as you know, improv has like a ton of rules.
Yeah.
And you can be loose with them, but there are definite, rules. Well, he was not loose with them.
Okay.
And then like after the show, you'd get like feedback. So, hey, that time when you said no, don't ever do that again. When you got low on the stage and they couldn't see you, don't ever do that again. So I learned so much from him.
So they were good notes.
They hurt at the moment.
Yeah.
I struggle with the term constructive criticism. But yes, they were great notes, and I learned a lot from him. The acting thing, I think, truth be told, was born out of just being a weird kid. My parents got divorced when I was really young, and I created fantasy worlds in my own life to make things better, and that born into like, I started imitating people in my family, becoming characters and and I lived this weird life. When I was in 4th grade, I kept a journal like Harriet the Spy, and I was convinced like all my neighbors were up to stuff, and I wrote this whole stuff about the 2 old ladies, the Tolman sisters, who actually killed every lawn boy. It was ridiculous. But that's where that all kind of got born out of. I just had this rich fantasy world that I would immerse myself in and become that person. Yeah. So it was weird.
You didn't have TV?
Yeah, we did. However, we did not have cable television, Nick. I was a kid. I was born in the early 60s and grew up during the 70s, and we did not have cable television.
I grew up in the 80s, and we didn't have cable either.
And
so.
I bought my first VHS system I bought when I was 19 for $800.
Whoa.
We didn't have a couch to sit on, but that VHS was sweet in my apartment. $800.
Oh my God.
That's hard to imagine buying an electronic for that amount of money.
Well, we had to pay on time.
What's that mean?
Like layaway?
Oh,
yeah.
Payment schedule.
Had to go down to Frank Pomelo's in Augusta every week and be like, here's $40.
God.
Here's $40. But our friends, it was me and my husband, we moved in together. We were really young, and our friends thought we were so cool because we had a VHS. Like, check us out.
Yeah.
Just get a lawn chair. Come on over.
Yeah. Bring your beanbag.
So I think comedy has been therapy for me, weirdly enough. For those of you who still think I need it, it's why I continue to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Do you do therapy as well?
I have, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I have. I know this is a comedy podcast, but to be perfectly honest, I think it's, there's no stigma with that.
No, there shouldn't be.
No. And as a kid, like I said, my parents divorced. I did not have a relationship with my dad, and that sculpts you as an adult to whatever decisions you make. And
right.
if you don't deal with them,
Yep.
you're going to deal with them.
Yep.
Just maybe not in the, healthiest ways. And I already eat every emotion I have. So I got to really try to buckle down here.
No, I think it's a very healthy thing to do.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
And I think being funny helps. And I have 2 kids, and their mother and I are divorced, and I tell them, like, let's be, when we're together, let's be as funny as we can be. Say whatever you want as long as it's funny.
Yeah.
And just don't swear, but they still swear. because they're
Yeah,
kids.
because it's cool.
It's cool.
It's totally cool. Do you remember the first time like you threw out the swear, like let's see if this lands, and you're like, it's so cool.
It was a big moment.
Yeah, and my mother was a school teacher, and it was not a big moment.
No.
She looks as that as a lack of intelligence, that you can't think of another word, and that's all you throw out. And if you heard my brother, that's pretty much his entire vocabulary.
And is he not intelligent? Your brother?
No, it was passive aggressive. Oh, my mother hates this. Fuck this. So,
what word don't you want to hear, Mom?
right, exactly.
Okay.
I'm going to say it incessantly.
Guess what's happening next? Going back to comedy, though, what do you think about swearing in comedy? What do you think?
I don't do it.
You don't? Yeah.
I don't. I occasionally I might throw one in there when I kind of feel, which is weird because I'll determine like, oh, the audience is laughing at people who do that, so I'll just zing it in there and something. But normally I don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Part of that is from improv. When I started doing improv, we called it PG-13. It's like we wanted families to be able to come, bring their 10-year-old kids and be silly and crazy. And Mystery for Hire was the same way. We touted it as innuendo, but never. So as Dennis Price likes to say, Julie, they kick the dirty out of you. Because I just it's not in me to do that.
Yeah.
I don't mind it if other people do. And if it's done well and it's done for a reason and not just I want to say it.
Yeah.
It's great. It doesn't bother me. They're words. I don't get wound up about words. You know, some people freak out like, oh, I hate that word. It's just a word. You choose to hate a word. It's a little weird.
Somebody said the other day, oh, I hate that word. It wasn't like a bad word. It wasn't like the C word or the F word. It was like a different word. I couldn't remember. Something simple, though. Like, I was like, what? How can you hate?
Like door.
Like
or moist. Like
moist, yeah.
I hate that
That's a
word,
good
moist.
one.
It's so gross.
Oh, damn.
What? It's just a word.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, to
I
take
hate
offense.
mint ice cream, not moist.
Mint ice cream is gross.
It's toothpaste in a bowl. Thank you. Oh, it's the
Yeah,
worst.
there's no need for it. There's no need for it.
Oh, I love you guys. Oh, I got into a huge debate with my daughter-in-law the other day about this. It's like,
Really?
It's the worst.
Yeah. My wife brings home mint ice cream, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, you can have some. I'm like, oh, no, I don't want any of that. I mean,
There's only 55,000 other
Right.
good flavors. Like, why do we need to
It's toothpaste with chocolate.
Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense to me. It's like, your dentist would not be like, here's Colgate and some chocolate chips.
4 out of 5 dentists would agree, but 3 of the podcasting participants right here know that.
Love it. I love it.
no, for a fact.
That's great.
Yeah, no, language doesn't bother me. They're words. I don't.
Language is tough. Being a parent and all, I think we can all agree that language is hard because you want these kids that they're going to learn these words at school and different things like that. It's unavoidable. But
the first time my daughter used a curse word that I know about was in a text to me. Right, so I've never heard or seen them use curse words, but she sent a curse word to me in a text.
In what context did she send that text?
I think I was punishing her for because I'm a technologist, and so I know how to turn off the internet and stuff on our firewall and stuff like that. And so she said something like, why do I even have a fucking laptop?
$1 million question, really.
Like,
she used it in the right context. I'm going to give her kudo on it.
And I stared at it for a while. I'm like, oh, what? Hey, what the? I'm like, do I answer the question or?
Yeah. Do I address the swearing?
She caught you in a loophole.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I will say that I do kind of agree with my mother. If you go overboard with it, you're not thinking. You're not coming up with, I'm frustrated even. Something just as simple as that, I get it. When you're super angry, that word feels great to throw that out there. It's like relief, but constant use of swearing, and I also have a job that I can't do that. Don't ask where I work.
No.
So yeah, I'm not much of a.
I think psychologically speaking, when you like stub your toe and you swear, I think it somewhere in your brain it releases some pain killing.
For sure.
Sure. Is it an endorphin? I don't know what, but some sort of chemical
feels good
reaction.
when it's used appropriately.
Yep,
Overkill of it. I mean, we've all met that person where you're like, wow. Throw an adjective in there, something, a noun. Just like,
work just like 2% harder.
Because wow, do you know any other words?
Yeah.
But it doesn't bother me.
It's difficult in stand up when you know that a crowd is getting pleasure out of
somebody
swearing. We had a show the other night where someone she knew that if she dropped the C word or the F word, she knew she'd have them, and she did it, and it worked it great. It was perfect. She had a great set.
I think if it's comfortable with that person, which is probably why I don't do it, because I think people would instantly be like, "That's not her."
Right.
You know what I mean? That's you meet people like, yeah, they can pull that off. They're cool. I'm so not cool. I've never even been on the fringe of cool. So it's like I can't pull that off.
Well, I beg to differ. I think what we do is kind of cool with the comedy and whatnot. I think
in our circle it's cool,
just
but I got to feel like that, like people in the audience might be like, she's a bit of a dweeb.
Well, it's like having some weird superpower that we don't really understand as much of a power, because people will come up to me like, "Oh yeah, you do comedy," and like, "Oh yeah, oh that's awesome. Can we go to a show?" Or like, "Oh, how do you do that?" And I'm like, I don't really know how I do it. It's not really much. I mean, yeah.
I got into it, and I'm really trying to find a way to get out of it.
Right.
I will say it like what one of the great conversations that I've had with people is, okay, so I love being on stage, obviously. The lead up to going on stage, I absolutely hate. Yeah. It's a good 15 minutes to 30 minutes of why am I doing this? Why do I keep doing this? You're getting too old for this. My God, do you really need the adoration of strangers this bad?
Yeah.
And then I don't know any of my jokes. I've forgotten. Oh my God, what's the order? How do they go? I'm literally at the point of nausea. I go pee 6 times in like a 15-minute time frame. Sweat. I'm reading the notes. I go up. I do the 20-minute set. Through the entire 20-minute set, I am having an out-of-body experience. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm kind of not there.
Yeah.
I'm there and I'm telling these jokes and I'm hearing the laughs, but Julie's over here because she just can't deal. Like, why are you doing this?
Like your soul leaves your body and watches you perform.
It's so
just watching the
weird.
show. Okay.
Exactly. I'm not, that connection's lost.
Wow.
Then after, it's massive high.
Yeah.
And then I go back for more. So it's this weird, like emotional roller coaster I'm on for the entire show. And, a lot of people are like, you move up in the order of where you appear, in a comedy showcase or whatever. Right. I'm always like, can I just be first? Because I'm like ready to be sick. Let me just go and do this,
Right. I feel the same way sometimes. There are times before shows where I'm just like, I would have just as much fun if I just sat in the audience. Yeah. Can I just sit in the audience and watch?
I know I'm in the lineup.
I know I'm in the lineup, but I just want to watch comedy. Yeah. Oh, I got to do my 10 minutes. Like, okay, I guess, sure. And then, I want to go first also because I want to relax. I want to have a beer, and I can't drink that much before I perform.
Yeah, I don't either.
Fuck up something. Yeah. And so I want to get up there and get my laughs, and it is like out of body. Like I picture myself up here performing, and it's like it's not me doing it because I'm sort of like I'm a little robotic, because I know this joke after that joke and after that joke, and here's where I pause and here's where blah 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 blah. Yeah,
I kind of look at it. This is going to sound really weird, but like we're characters in this lifetime. Okay, so we have our regular job where you work at the court character, and Leonard's IT character, and Julie does her job character. And then we are parents, and we perform differently at that role. Mm-hmm. And we are friends, and we are different with our different friends. And so when I do stand-up, it's just another character of my life. Yeah. So it's kind of, people find it very interesting, like Leonard said, they're just like, oh my God, how do you do that? And to me, I don't know how I do it. I really couldn't tell you why I do it because for most of the time, I'm literally miserable.
But you do so well at it. And what prompted you to try stand up? I mean, I guess it was 3 years ago, like same with me, right?
Yeah. Okay. We were in the class together, and I did it for a friend. So I'm sure, like, you guys are so funny that you have heard, from your friends, oh my God, you're so funny. You should do stand up. You're so funny. You should do stand up. And I always was under the impression like, I'm conversationally funny. I can zing and be sarcastic, but, stand up and be funny, go, Right. I was like, ooh, I don't want no part of that. That's a lot of pressure. And then my friend Ann-Marie, who did Mystery Junior Theater with 25 years, said, hey, they're having a stand-up class in Lewiston, adult ed. Will you come with me? So I was like, sure, I'll take it with you, whatever. I had no intention, of like, I don't need this also in my life,
I got enough problems.
And then, I kind of did the graduation class, and then I went to Empire. We did the summer Empire. It was like like that summer, summer thing. And I made it all the way to the semifinals. And I was like, what the? What? How is this happening?
Because you were fan-fucking-tastic at it.
I love you. I love you guys too much. Thank you. And again, I'm probably my biggest worst critic. You know that. I hate my stuff. I hate my set. They hated me. Mark's like, Julie, they were dying. I'm like, no, they hate it. It's just
I had to listen to you in a car ride recently talk about how bad you are going on the way up and then on the way back after you just killed.
Self-loathing.
So you did well in that contest. Then you won the Mark Turcotte's Bare Bones contest at the
Maine's Titus 5. Yeah.
Titus 5.
And then the following March, Central Maine's Funniest Comedian.
Yeah.
Really?
It was crazy.
Center.
The first year was a little weird. I will say though, Franco Center's my people. I'm not, let's be perfectly honest. Julie Poulin. Hey, recognize that good French name? That's right. And look, the crowd's middle-aged. They're going to understand my incontinence stuff, okay? I go to Portland. And
preach, sister, preach.
Well, you've been there when I talk about some of my getting older stuff, and you'll hear a woman, yeah, that's right, right. But I go to like somewhere in Portland, and there are millennials and kids, they're my kids' age, and they're just like, why is mom here talking about her vagina? This isn't funny.
Stop it, mom. Shut up. Shut up.
Like, nobody wants to hear this. We don't want to even know that you have one.
Didn't the government take that away?
Right. Isn't it like after 40, you're not allowed to talk about it?
Yeah. 3 competitions in the first year, finalist or champion.
Finalist or winner. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive run.
Thank you. And I really appreciate that. And I don't take any of it for granted. Like you said, we had a car ride the other day, and I think I'm horrible. So
well, everyone doesn't think you're horrible.
Well,
so
I will say I had this conversation with somebody the other day that, we all have different pockets of our life. And when I left, Mystery for Hire was hard. It was 25 years. But when something feels like work, when you start that, like, I got to go do this tonight, it's time to reevaluate. There are people who would just kill to do that, and lovingly do that. And I had such a good run with that. But it was hard. This was a group of people that, supported that creative part of you, and I'm so excited to say that, like, I have all of that with the comedy people, Leonard, Nick, Don, Mark. There's such a Nick, Nate. There's such a tight little group, and I love it. It's like, they've let the old lady in, and it means the world to me. It's like it's great to at my age still be creative and be asked to be creative.
We like having you there because we see ourselves, a few years into the future going, can we still do this? Yes, we can.
Thank you for the few years. I appreciate that.
I was going to say like something really horrible, but I pulled back.
You don't have to. It's me.
That was my improv skills. I don't know if you guys.
Oh, nice. Yes. And you were great at it.
I edited it on the fly.
Nick's been working on that. That's awesome. So talk about your writing process. Like, what inspires you to actually write the things, or what process do you go through for your stand-up?
I think like everybody's life is funny. Funny things happen to us. You know what I mean? Most of what my set on stage is true. Mm-hmm. Maybe the tagline's not true. Maybe the end of it, but it's true. And I'll just have moments where I'm like, that's hilarious. If this actually happened, this would be so funny. Yeah. Weirdly enough, where I get most of my stuff is I'll be driving in the car, lost in a thought, and something will pop into my head. The battery joke that I tell. Okay. I got that in my head on the way to the Titus 5.
Oh wow!
It just popped in my head, and I'm literally writing on the side, like, don't forget this. This is gold,
There were 3 literal deaths in that crowd that night because of that joke. Right. Oh god!
But it became so awkward. Pops in my head, and then I have such a great relationship with both my boys. But my youngest, Jesse, I will call and be like, all right, just listen to this one. What do you, he'll tell me, I'm like, Mom, that's awful. Don't you know what I mean?
That's awful. That's perfect.
Right, But most of it pops in my head in the car. And my writing process is I'll just write a word that I think is funny. And then I'll be like, okay, work through that. But then I'll think about like just experiences that, I have with being married a long time, my mother, my family relationships. So, because I think life's funny.
Hilarious.
And if you look at it to be funny, It's like, it's crazy. So
Do you feel, we've asked this of other guests, do you feel that comedians have like people who have a comedic mind have an easier way of dealing with real major issues in life?
I actually think it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
But do you think that us who try to make other people laugh on a regular basis, that we have an even more enhanced level of coping skills?
I don't know, because I kind of see that need to make other people laugh is to feel accepted, to have, when I jokingly say I need the adoration of strangers, I do.
Yeah.
That applause is what brings you back. That laugh is what brings you back. And that is all you, that's all you're internalizing. That I don't know if that's a coping or as, it's a way to feel connected to people, community, life. To me, that's how I look at it. I need it.
Yep.
I've been performing, like I said, since I was a kid.
Yep.
Because I want that. I want people to be like, yes, you're worthy. You're fabulous.
You're the best.
Because the person in your head that you think you are, you're actually better than that. Don't worry about it. Because the self-loathing creeps in after. So I think I do it for that reason. So, but I use comedy as a coping mechanism. I think a lot of people do. It's better to be funny, laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
Make jokes about yourself, your weight, your age, your gender, whatever, before other people do.
When something really bad happens, though, do you immediately try to find what's funny about it?
Yeah, it's weird because both my sons also, we have a really gruesome, horrible sense of humor that we'll only do with each other because it's like, people would hate us if they heard us doing this.
So like if a relative dies, the three of you are making fun of.
Yeah. Well, we did, you were there, we did the bare bones. We did that night of death.
Right.
Yes.
The death talk. Right.
And normally, I try to be sweet, Julie, and I went up and I was like, so my father died immediately after having a stroke, it was like instant.
Yeah.
But it was the first time he actually followed through on something. That's what everybody did. That was
the point of the night, though. Like we to make fun of this.
But most people in circles are like, that's messed up. Don't do that.
Most normal people.
Right, exactly. Don't find your father dying of a stroke hilarious, but.
My father's still alive, but that would be pretty. I think he'd actually think that's funny because he does not follow through on anything. I can picture that.
Yeah, well, my dad didn't either, so but it was just so funny because I got the moans, and I was like, "Ooh, that's the first time I've gotten them to turn on me."
I don't like that adoration.
Yeah. Well, no, and some comedians do. Mark Turcotte, I don't want the audience to turn on me.
No, I feel that. When you going back to Mystery for Hire and improv, did you still have that same feeling, that dread, that half hour buildup of dread doing those?
No, that really is stand up.
Yep.
And I'll tell you why. You're standing there by yourself. There ain't nobody going to bail you out of this.
Yep.
And we, at least I have had sets that didn't go as planned. Not, they didn't crash, but they, they got some very tepid, like when's the next comedian on? Let's hope they're funnier than this chick, and that'll get in your head really fast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because then my set becomes a moving train. Like I can realize I am speeding through this, I'm not even giving them now time to laugh at this, where if they laugh, you slow down, you relax into it and you're just milking it, here we go,
Yeah.
And it's so weird. But with improv, you have at least 3 other people, or at least one standing there that's like, hey, if this just isn't your night, I got you. You'll be the straight guy. I got you.
Yeah.
And so I don't ever have that feeling with improv because I know I don't have to. If I don't make them last, 3 other people will. And I'll just be a lamp, or I'll be a table or a car, whatever they need. And I don't have to be funny tonight.
Uh-huh.
And then Mystery for Hire is scripted. So there are scripted jokes in it. And the difference with that is you become a character. So I'm not Julie Poulin from Monmouth, Maine.
Oh.
I'm Crazy Doris, your cousin from Arkansas, and I can play this really bizarre woman, who has an annoying voice. And so it's completely different. But stand up, I feel like that's the most vulnerable place to be. Other than naked on your first date. And I think that's why I get it. Like, I don't feel good. I don't think I should be doing this. It goes right back to the night of I lost my virginity. Like, I don't think I should be doing this. I'm feeling really vulnerable right now. And then, I want to throw up. But then after, woo, that was a high.
Are you talking about the virginity and throwing up? Okay.
So when you're on stage doing stand-up, do you think the improv and the acting has helped you, or do you ever do any crowd work? I don't know if I've seen you do crowd work.
I do not do crowd work.
Does the improv and acting sort of help you on stage?
The improv does, because I'm not thrown off when they yell something. Okay. I don't mind not heckling, but sometimes they'll just like, oh, I hear you. I know. And I'll talk to them for a second. I do not invite them to play with me, though.
Yeah.
And that comes from Mystery for Hire. And because, and even though, we've told not doing stand up, but in Mystery for Hire, people come out, they go to dinner and they're having about 4 drinks. And Mystery for Hire is I'm right at your table. I'm at your table. I'm a character. I'm in your face. You're now relaxed. And you're starting to think you're part of this show. I have had inappropriate things said to me, smacked my ass during the show. I mean, people forget, like, hey, still a human being here.
Yeah.
But we learned quickly, you got to shut that down.
Yeah.
They can't be part of the show. So what we did with that, and it's what I've done at stand up, is I ignore it. Like that's not happening. House of Bacon.
Yeah.
Okay? They're blabbing, they're talking, the waitress is yelling, I'm getting heckled by the guy at the last table, like, get her off the stage.
Yeah.
I ignore it completely. And of course, I was a mother of 2 teenage boys, so this comes very naturally to me. But I ignore it. But the improv part, yes. I don't get thrown if somebody yells something out. It's like, that's all right. I'll yell back for a second. I think it helps physicality wise. I like to be physical on stage, and I think improv teaches you that, instead of just standing there, so it helped a lot. I also think you have a leg up, and I think you notice it, like when people come into stand up that have already been on stage doing other stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Stage presence right there. You've got that already. So that's out of the way, so that was a huge help for me. It's like I wasn't nervous about being on stage.
Speaking in front of people and having them watch you, having them look at you, be the center of attention.
Yeah.
So now you're also working on voiceover or voice acting.
Yes.
So you're on the Restless Shores.
Restless Shores. It's a podcast.
Okay.
It's a soap opera. It's 15 minutes of scandalous salaciousness, 15 minutes at a time. And that just came about in some weird, like I said, as I get older, there's not a lot of plays for women my age. There's not a lot of roles for women my age. And I love stand up, but I have to have other creative outlets that are like just to feed me. And I saw an audition for it, and I was like, and a lot of people have said to me, you have a unique voice. There's something, I can hear you before you're in a room, and I know that's Julie. I know that voice. And then I said to my husband, I want to retire and just be that person who does like, those horrible videos you have to watch at work. Today we will discuss ethics and code of conduct at work. Please turn to page 1 while we discuss. I'm like, that's what I want to do when I retire. I just want to make bank doing horrible training videos.
Somebody has to do it.
And they make money. Mm-hmm. And it's still a creative outlet. Like with Restless Shores, I play this character. And right now my character is pretending to be another person. So I'm a character within a character. And it's fun. Freaking fabulous, So I love it. Yes. And that came at a really, really good time for me. I was kind of slowing down on the stand-up. I hadn't really written anything new. There were no shows coming up. And then I stumbled on that audition, and I was like, let me just see what happens. So
nice.
It was awesome.
Cool. You're Regina Miranda?
Regina Miranda, that's right. She's a part-time bar manager and part-time thief.
Okay.
So,
ooh, nice.
Right, but currently she's now trying to infiltrate Luna Cosmetics, pretending to be Rachel. And Rachel's like really nice and super flirty with Alan. And Regina is not.
Oh, funny.
So yeah, I love it. And it's, like I said, it's a soap opera in every sense of the word. There's amnesia, there's brain transplants, there's, illegal marriages. I killed someone. I'm free as a bird.
I listened to the episode and it was like, oh, you married the clone instead of the right one. And like, what?
You probably should have gone back to the beginning.
I don't know if that would help. It's a soap opera in every sense of the word. And my mother is older, and so she lives in Florida. And I was like, Mom, if you want to hear my voice or whatever. And she's like, I can't follow this.
But yet she can watch The Young and the Restless.
Yeah, she did for years, but now she's like, I can't follow this. It's just too funny. But no, I absolutely love it. It's been really good for me to have another outlet.
Nice.
And I think I've been really lucky, I don't want to use the word career, but as far as my acting and improv and all of that stuff goes, just when something's ending, something new starts for me. I'm so blessed to have that happen, in my world. And I've met people along the way that have helped me.
I think
tremendously.
that's it. Is as you go, you realize, oh, there's something else. Oh, there's another thing. Oh, there's another thing.
Exactly. And then you just stretch and stretch and stretch. Yeah. And then all of those people blend together because I know people in my my Mystery for Hire life that now know a lot of the stand-up comedians.
Yep.
Right. I friends from improv prior to doing underground improv are now friends with my improv, and it's blended into this huge, wonderful, creative bucket, and I love it.
So cool.
It's awesome.
It is very fun to, I'm excited to see what's next for all of us, really.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what do you think about this community here in Maine? Like, would people be surprised outside of Maine, do you think?
I totally think they would.
Yeah,
And I also think we underestimate ourselves because we're from Maine.
That might be right, too.
Yeah. No, I think we're like, oh, well, I'm funny here.
Yeah.
You can be funny anywhere.
No, that's true.
What you can't do is jokes about, here, so, in Texas.
Well, a lot of that stuff is pretty funny, though. So that's the trouble.
Here.
Yeah.
But, it's... To me, what is that statement? It's called evergreen. You have to have material that you can do anywhere.
Yep.
And people can always relate with relationships, whether it be with your mother, your husband, your spouse, your boyfriend. That people connect instantly with that because we all have those. We all have that wacky relative relation, and to me, but I think we underestimate ourselves. I have seen people in Maine that I think have been better than people I have seen in other places in the United States, and I'm like, these people are great. We just don't have the population here to become huge, it's just never going to,
Right.
But I kind of like that we're huge in our own little world.
Yeah.
We're like little mini rock stars. Granted, it's a craft underground in front of 16 people, but damn it, I am a rock star that night. It's awesome.
That's true.
I had that feeling. Yeah, I had that feeling recently. It was,
and it's awesome when you have a good set and people come up to you after, like, you're funny. That was funny. Yeah. Nothing feels better than that. Yeah. Nothing, when you're just like, oh my God, thank you so much. But you get in your car, you're like, oh, I crushed it tonight. It's like nothing feels better than that. Nothing.
So true.
Another outlet you've had for creativity has been you've been joining Mark Turcotte on the radio as a co-host every once in a while. That's been fun too.
That's been a blast, and the best part of that is Mark has to be really careful what he asks for. Okay. He was on the radio one day, and it was a Friday, and I listened to him because it's Mark, and it's so cool to hear a friend, just on the radio. It's super cool, and love the 80s music, so it works out well. And perfect. I have to be careful sometimes. I wrote to him Friday. I'm like, I'm aware this isn't a request line, but if you got Crazy by Seal, you want to throw that on for me? But there was one Friday where I heard him just be like, he was tired. He was like, oh, man, I need a co-host today. Just anybody come on down, right? And so I texted him and I'm like, well, what time do I got to get there? And he was like, come anytime you want, right? So I went and did the show, closed it with the Lawrence Welk closing. Because I'm just a whack job. And then Mark was like, that was great. You come anytime you want.
Oh.
Well, you got to be really careful about that. So when he just did the For the Love of Pets thon, I just showed up.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, hey, I'm here.
Ready to go.
Yeah, we're doing this together. So careful what you ask for.
Have you ever been on radio before?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago. Like I said, my voice is a little distinct. People recognize it. Sometimes I'm actually called Sir, which isn't always that fun, but that's okay.
Is it better than ma'am?
Yes, actually. Yes. Yeah. I think I get a little more respect.
You make 75 cents more.
You got it. But not as a DJ, but, been on the radio, just promoting stuff that I've had to do, go on and you do a little promotion thing. The thing with like, I don't know. I'm sure you guys realize this when you interview people that it's comfortable. Mark and I are just having a conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not forced laughter. I think he's hilarious. We crack each other up. So when you have that with somebody, it's very different than if I showed up and like, Mark, this is Julie. Julie, this is Mark. go.
Yeah.
What? So
Yep.
it's so different, but yeah, he has to be really careful.
when I was on as a guest, I think I enjoyed more watching the two of you work the radio shows, because I'd never actually been on radio as a guest or anything other way, and I was like, oh, this is neat. Like watching the two of you do it, I forgot that I was supposed to be part of the event.
It was a blast. And like I said, that only came out of Mark, unfortunately, being like, I could use a coat. Okay.
All righty, buddy.
I'm here. You asked for it. And Mark's just too polite to be like, can you not come back anymore?
Well, he's not paying you, so it's like...
Oh, God.
Wow.
So, yeah. Anytime I get a chance to do something, I jump at it. So.
What's the one thing that you haven't had a chance to do, whether it's in comedy or acting or radio, but you would like to do, or anything at all? Ugh,
okay, well, no, it's fine. I think we all have these weird little things, but I would love to write like a one-woman stage show and do it and produce it and do it and have it be very, very much about where I'm at in my life, which I know sounds crazy. But I've learned more about myself in this decade in my 50s than I have in any other decade in my life. The worst part is my body is crap. But my brain is like the best it's ever been. Yeah. But I would just love to kind of do just a one-woman show about, a broken kid from a little square mile town called Randolph, who's now just I'm living my best life, even if it's in Maine and I don't make $1 million, Yeah. I do murder mystery dinner theater, and I've got to do that for 25 years, and I got paid to do that and have lifelong friends. And then I do crazy improv, and I just make a complete fool of myself, and people laugh and they pay us, and I do stand up. I mean, it's an interesting little, and a lot of my confidence has been in this last decade, more so than I ever had, because I care less and less.
Oh, sure.
So it's. I would love to do that. I would love to do just a whole one woman, I write it, produce it, have it be on stage, and just do the whole deal.
I'd pay to see it.
Yeah.
And maybe just more as a catharsis for me. You know, it could be one of those horrible things like, oh my God, she's yelling at the audience. Those horrible, all in black. You don't know me. You don't know my pain.
I don't care if any of you guys are here. I'm going to do this anyway.
I think people would love it. I think regardless, people would love it.
But it's weird how we covet what we don't have, because my lifelong dream would have been a lounge singer at an airport lounge. I just thought that was don't go change. That's right. Don't go changing, because you're the best. It's just oh my God.
Is that still a thing?
Of course not. Of course not. Remember, I was a kid in the 60s and 70s.
I'm wondering, I don't travel as much as I used to. And really, I was only once or twice a year, but I've never encountered that.
I thought that was the most glamorous thing ever. They would just come out in that whole sequin thing, and the big tip jar on the piano and this smoky little thing. She'd lay on the piano. I'm like, God, I want to do that. That's funny. That's the job I want.
That could be part of your one-woman show, though. You could come out and pretend to be that character.
Yeah, in an ill-fitting gown. That would even be hilarious.
Yeah. And then it's tear away. You tear it away, and you're in all black, and then you can smoke a cigarette and do your 45 minutes, and people at the end will give a standing ovation. I can picture it.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. I will tell you, awesome. My mother is a generation where you just work. You work hard. You pay your bills. You do your stuff. So a lot of what I do, she cannot wrap her head around. What is this? Why do you do this weird, stuff? And I remember once, this will tell you the support system that I have. Best of My Love was the first 45 that I got. You probably don't even know the song. But I belted out like it was the end of the world. I choreographed it, the whole thing. So I went to show my mother. And I was like, I want to be a singer. And she was like, you'd be a good backup singer.
Ooh, how old were you?
I think I was 11.
Oh my God. You can't do that to an 11-year-old.
This is a woman based in reality. Yeah. Okay. Could you take a minute and maybe not deflate my spirit at 11?
I can't even tell my 12-year-old daughter not to have a bagel with cream cheese in the morning without her melting down.
Don't body shame me.
Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine telling her you'd be a good backup singer.
But I think in her defense, I obviously wasn't that good of a singer. And she didn't want to be like, all right, so I'll throw this out. You'd be a good backup singer. So then I dreamed.
She tried in her own little way.
Everyone needs a backup singer.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. But that was the one thing that I would have. I'm just when I see people who can sing, I'm like,
I do. I actually would like to take voice lessons. I sing in the car and I sound really good, and then I try to sing a song by myself, and it's like, oh God, I know that's bad. You know, like don't.
I wanted to do that too. I actually asked
voice lessons.
I asked a singer friend of mine about who I can ask about voice lessons.
2 for 1.
Yeah. Masha Gallagher in Hollowell. I'm actually, it's just so weird where life does this. I'm getting ready to take voice lessons.
Oh, for Christ's
from
sakes.
her. Well, I had bought piano lessons for Jesse, my son.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then she knows me, Dennis Price. She does the piano for Dennis. Improv, Marcia.
Oh, she's fantastic.
She's gifted. Yeah. And she also sings and does all that. And so I had told her one day, just, having conversation because we're the same age, like, I'm so jealous you get to sing. And she's like, you can sing, Julie. She's like, the thing is, she's like, just what you just said. You have moments where you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to train so that every moment is good. And if you don't, then the pitchiness starts and people who don't just have that gift, like born with it, have to work at it, you know? And she was like, come take voice lessons with me. And I'm like, what the heck? What? So I'm like, next summer I'll rock out somewhere and, tambourine and do my thing.
I love it.
Yeah, I should look her up. I'll look her up.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah.
Okay.
So you may meet her with Dennis too. So yeah, she's great. She does voice lessons. So yeah, whether it, it won't become anything, but it'll be one of those like, check.
Yep, exactly. This is something I thought of. I want to do it and I'm going to go do it.
Right,
yep.
exactly.
I like that. It's just like when you drive by McDonald's and you're like, I want a Big Mac.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm driving I'm getting it.
And then I'm going to bury this deep in the trash or we're all going to forget this happened.
Yeah, exactly. I can burn this off later.
I'm going to stuff the Burger King, the McDonald's wrappers underneath the seat next to me so there's no evidence.
Where the hell these come from? I
don't know.
Yeah, you just wait till nobody's around. Okay.
Yep. It's when we're driving home late at night and it's 11 p.m. and you're like, I got to get gas. And you're like, ooh, that's right. I got to throw this stuff away too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, me too.
Throwing things in the trash at the gas station.
I used to joke
cops will
and
never
say,
look there.
The only exercise I get is running up the street the next day after I've thrown the McDonald's bag out the night before so my husband won't see it.
In the road.
Well, you don't want to leave it. You can't be a litter bug. So it's like, okay, next morning I'm just sprinting to go get it.
Oh, that's funny.
It's the exercise I get.
You're not a litter bug. You're just hiding the evidence of a crime.
Correct. Yeah. Because, if you looked at me, you'd be like, oh, she doesn't eat at McDonald's. That's so crazy. It's like, who do you think you're kidding? Who do you think you're hiding? People know you eat too much.
People know I eat too much, but I'll be honest, I haven't had McDonald's or fast food in over a year.
Oh, I don't. I'm joking. It's not my huge go-to.
Okay.
My guilty pleasure right now are Charleston shoes. You freeze them and then because it's like it's hot now.
Yeah.
And so you just smack. Oh my God, I love a frozen Charleston shoe.
That's funny.
Okay.
All good stuff. Speaking of things you don't love, Leonard. No. I meant that.
Love Leonard.
No, we love
Speaking
Leonard.
of not liking Leonard.
Oh, damn it. Let's edit that out. Let's start again. Speaking of things you don't love, Leonard has a segment called
Curse the Darkness. So we'd like you to curse the darkness, complain about something that you don't have any plans to correct.
She said before that she knew exactly what we were talking about. So
yeah,
I did. If you went to my bedroom right now, you would say a 13-year-old girl lives here because there are clothes freaking everywhere. There are mismatched socks. There are actually clean clothes in a laundry basket sitting on top of the bureau. But something disconnects in Julie's brain. It was like, ooh, open drawers and put away stuff.
Oh, I've got the same thing.
And so if you walk in my room, to me, my bedroom is a synopsis of what it looks like in my brain. There is crap everywhere and nothing is organized. And you would be like, just put it in the drawers.
it's right there.
I'm not going to do it. I'm 57 years old. I'm not going to do it. It's not changing. I don't care. I have what I called controlled chaos in my world. And like I said, if you walked in my room, you'd be like a 13-year-old girl lives
Did
here.
it start when you were 13?
I've always been at work. I am meticulously organized. In my personal life, mess. Just ridiculous.
Oh, so lead singers clean their room.
Always a backup singer. Yeah, but I have no intention of fixing it. I mean, because obviously if I did, I would have by now.
Oh, for sure.
And I live with a really understanding husband who just walks by, because he'll shake his head, especially when I say things like, this clean? Did I wear this? How old are you?
It's more like,
Are you going to smell a T-shirt right now?
Yeah. Just for the convenience sake, I have a basket of clean clothes, like, on the dresser. And I was like, oh, well, hey, I know where my clean T-shirts are. And I'll just grab one right there. And
Are there clean T-shirts in the drawer as well, though? Like,
Yes.
Did they eventually migrate their way into the drawer?
Not often enough,
That's
but
fine.
sometimes.
I actually think I have empty drawers currently in my bureau.
Yeah, I think I have a drawer that has like 3 T-shirts in it. But
and
like
that I never
everything's in-
wear.
everything's in
I
the
think the
basket.
stuff in the drawer would be stuff that I have no intention of ever wearing.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's out of the
But-
rotation.
Yeah, but I'm not. I have no intention of changing that. There's no list like I need to get it together and I'm going to start. No, I'm not.
Is that just the one? That's it, though? I mean, that's fine. That's
Oh,
not that
I've got a
bad.
lot of other stuff, but that's just the big one to
Yeah.
me because I mean, at my age, you would think like,
That's the most obvious because anyone who
Serious?
comes into your house could see that and be
Yeah,
like,
oh.
"Whoa, Jesus, Julie, Julie."
what the heck, right? I thought your kids moved out. Ignore the Led Zeppelin poster and all the shit on the floor.
It smells like weed in here. What's going on?
Hey, that's all right. It's legal now.
Exactly.
It's funny you say that. The older I get, the less I care about any of that stuff. I'm like worried like at 80, I'm going to be, LSD? Yeah, let me try it.
Yeah. That'd be the time to do it.
Right.
wouldn't
Who
it?
cares at
Yeah.
this point? It's like, whatever. So it's nuts.
When you drop dead at 80, it really doesn't matter why.
Well, I smoked for years. I was a cigarette smoker for 30 years. And I remember one time at work, being like, I got to quit. This can take years off my life. And one of my friends said, just the bad ones. It's a great justification. I still quit, but it was a great justification.
It's better to have quit. I mean, from 50 to 60, 60 to 70, there's probably some pretty good years.
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
so,
Let's hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they will be. You'll have that one-woman show.
That, if I could get my crap together.
Put your clothes away. Start writing your one-woman show, and let's get it done.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Julie. It's been really great to have you. I'm so pleased to have you in my garage.
Thanks for having me in your garage.
That weed killer right there is not insect, whatever it is. All right, well, no, forget it.
Yeah, you gotta,
I thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
I love you
thank you.
both
Thank you
dearly,
so
and
much.
I'm really enjoying your podcast.
Thank you.
I listen to it in the car and prepare for next episodes to drop. So I hope everybody will give Comedy Think Tanked a listen.
wow, and you say it so well too. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I learned to enunciate a long time ago.
Okay.
Well, no, it's part of acting, was that main accent. You got to get rid of that. And I works at it. And when I'm tired, I will hear it come out. But I don't know if you noticed, but I do work hard to enunciate, without you, because it was part of theater. They were just like, you can't be doing it.
You can't sound like a fool.
But I answered the phone one time, and I'll never forget it. And I was like, "What's the number?" Did I just say number? I was like, oh my God. All right, take 2. What's the number? So it's there, but it's just, I keep it stuffed.
We'll get you drunk sometime. And
Yeah,
record
it's
you
not
saying.
pretty. It's not pretty. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you,
you.
Julie. All right. Julie Poulin, everyone. She tells us you all have seen her stand-up set, but if you haven't, and even if you have, be sure to go see her again when you get the chance.
Yes, please do. She is a versatile lady who can be heard on the Restless Shores podcast and any number of stand-up comedy shows this summer.
We wish her all the best in her future voiceover, acting, and comedy gigs, and can't wait to work with her again real soon.
Thanks again to everyone who listened. Tell your friends and follow Comedy Think Tanked wherever you can. Be sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Find us on Instagram at Comedy Think Tanked, Twitter at Comedy Tanked, and our very own website, comedythinktank.com. And email us at comedythinktanked@gmail.com. That's TANKED. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks, Leonard.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Theme music was written and produced by a minor, Ralph Birgfeld. No comedians were hurt in the production of this podcast. All audio snippets of actual funny punchlines were not written or performed by any of us or our subsidiaries. Rather, they are express written bits of professionals we admire. Let the civil actions be filed. Any opinion heard, actual or implied, is that of the Comedy Think Tank producers and their guests. Any slight, insult, affront, slur, disparaging remark, snub, rebuff, rejection, or spurning, no matter how derogatory, pejorative, or abusive you may feel it is, was not intended, but for comedic, entertaining purposes only. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, there have been times where I've gone to bed and I was like, why did I need to eat a sandwich right before bed? Why did I make this? Why did I need a sandwich? I'm going to bed. It's not like I need energy right now.